To girl boss or not to girl boss? Welcome to Wow If True, the podcast of your wildest memes.
We talk about niche internet fame, interview people who are making it on the internet, and chart our own misguided quest for online attention. I'm your guy who said fuck in front of her entire associate class, Isabel.
And I'm Amanda. Anyone can be famous on the internet, so why not us?
That pause truly spoke volumes.
Sometimes actions speak louder than words.
Anyway, guess what, Amanda? And also Craig, I guess you're listening too.
What?
I have a job now.
Hey,
I'm a lawyer.
You're a lawyer. That's wild.
Yeah, okay, so I need to get into 2 different elevators in a skyscraper in New York, wearing my stupid little suit and stupid little heels, and I have to key card into both elevators, and then I get to the law firm office, and then I go on Zoom with everybody else, because it's like a half virtual, half not thing with all the associates, and then my friend whispers to me, hey, your mic is on, you're not muted, and then I whisper, oh fuck, and it does pick up on it, and every single associate hears me say fuck.
Nice. Wait, this was in a Zoom meeting?
This was in a conference room with the other people in my group.
And you all have microphones on.
And we all have microphones and like headsets. No, this is because my firm has like offices globally.
Oh.
Yeah, and the 56 of us are spread across the vast majority of America. I don't know if anyone's anywhere else. They all heard me say fuck. First day. I like to think this was a power move, and I like to think that I was actually girl bossing and not epic failing, if you will.
Speaking of girl bossing, I'm just curious, do you wear heels? Like, when do you put on the heels for people who wear heels to work?
Oh, so okay. I put on heels when I need to wear them to work when I'm in my office at work. Like, I won't wear them to work because it's New York, and I'm not going to do that to myself. Life is already so full of pain.
Do you put them on, like, when you get to your desk, you switch shoes, or is it, like, before then?
Yeah, when I get to my desk. I've also only worked a week, and usually I don't actually have to wear a suit. I was being facetious, but for orientation, we needed suits and stuff. I don't know, it's like, you know the thing, like, everyone else is going to be wearing heels, so I'm like, okay, I guess I better put these on my feet and suffer. A lot of girls were trading Band-Aids, or, like, handing out Band-Aids. It was, like, a whole time.
Wow, that's a show of solidarity to hand out Band-Aids to people.
It is what I would call the girl boss tax.
You know what else is the girl boss tax?
What else is the girl boss tax, Amanda?
This podcast. So, the long-awaited episode is here. It is the Gaslight, Gatekeep girl boss episode, but we're going out of order. We're starting with girl boss. So, how would you describe a girl boss?
Okay, I've hit a point in my life where I will describe anything as girl boss if I think it's funny, but I think the original definition is when a girl does something that is, I don't want to say like powerful but bitchy, but it is powerful but bitchy. That is like girl boss energy.
If anyone has no idea what we're talking about, Gaslight Gatekeep Girl Boss is a meme that we think is funny. But to get to the bottom of Gaslight Gatekeep Girl Boss, we first have to talk about Girl Boss. So, I did some research. Do you know there is a clothing company that is essentially responsible for the genesis of Girl Boss? Do you know what that is?
I did not know that, and I do not know. Should I make some guesses?
Sure.
Objectively, the funniest answer would be Victoria's Secret. Is it Victoria's Secret?
Oh, no. You're off base. It's a bit more like grunge and like trendy than that.
What? Okay, I was not expecting you to say grunge and trendy. Hot Topic.
Oh man, a Hot Topic girl boss would be amazing, but unfortunately that's not what we're going in this episode.
Okay. I haven't been to the mall in forever, so I'm really blanking. Claire's.
No, it's not a mall store. It's Nasty Gal.
Okay.
The founder of that company, Sophia Amoruso, wrote a memoir called #GirlBoss in 2014. Also, just like, we gotta ask Allison, our librarian friend, how do you categorize #GirlBoss, like in the Dewey Decimal System? Like, no, I think Dewey Decimal is about like topics, but like alphabetically, where does the pound sign go in?
I think the pound sign goes before everything, but don't look at me. I only know how to blue book things.
Well, she wrote a memoir called #GirlBoss in 2014. It was turned into a Netflix show called Girl Boss in 2017, which only ran for 1 season, and she sold her company for $20 million and now runs a media company. What do you think it's called?
Girl Boss.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I saw the script. That was cheating on my part, but also, like, you did lead up to it.
I mean, it's a good guess. I think in theory, this girl boss narrative is supposed to be inspiring, and that it's like young, scrappy girl who's just trying to make it work in the big city, and she ends up having this big company. But I think that a lot of Gen Z and millennials, I think that a lot of Gen Z / young millennials felt alienated by this because it's a very, like, white woman falls ass backwards into success. This is the pinnacle of feminism kind of thing. It is impressive that she built a business, but of course, in a tale as old as Mark Zuckerberg, when you are a CEO with no management experience, it generally goes poorly. Generally, managers should have managerial experience. Hot takes on Wow If True.
We've all seen The Social Network.
Oh man. Okay, speaking of... Okay, pause.
Okay, paused.
Mark Zuckerberg is the worst.
Okay, I didn't think you were gonna say that. I thought you were gonna say something about Red, White, and Royal Blue, aka the book that was based on a Social Network fan fiction that you thought I was lying about, but I wasn't lying about.
Oh yeah, that is true. If you're a Patreon patron, and only if you're a Patreon patron, I will DM you the PDF that I have of this fanfic that no longer exists on the internet. I mean, it does because, like...
Wayback Machine exists.
Yeah. So a New York Times reporter, Ryan Mack, wrote this pretty damning article about Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg and just, Facebook is girl-bossing too close to the sun. This New York Times article says, quote, Mr. Zuckerberg's posts have recently featured a video of himself riding an electric surfboard with an American flag and messages about new virtual reality and hardware devices. And then Mark Zuckerberg posted a screenshot and said, it's one thing for the media to say false things about my work, but it's crossing the line to say I'm riding an electric surfboard when that video clearly shows a hydrofoil that I'm pumping with my own legs.
Oh my god. Nobody cares, Mark.
Anyway, CEOs of companies are bad whether they're men or women, which, I mean, there are more than two genders.
Non-binary CEOs are also bad. They don't get a pass. Add them to the list.
All CEOs are girl bossing too close to the sun, and guess what happened after this tale of rags to riches girl boss 2014? You know what happened in 2015?
What happened in 2015?
The company went bankrupt.
That's rough, buddy.
Yeah, but even still, like, your company goes bankrupt and you step down as CEO, but you still sell the company for $20 million. Like, maybe that went to pay off debts or whatever, but that happened. She still got the TV show Girl Boss.
I feel like that happens to CEOs a lot, though, where they step down, but they still golden parachute their way out of there.
I mean, I think the golden parachuting into success is a great segue and point to make about why girl boss has become this troubling thing, because in some ways making fun of girl boss can come off as like a little internalized misogyny, but I don't think that's it. I think what it is that we're acting as though the ultimate achievement of women is to emulate what men are doing badly and then also do it badly.
You know what it is? It feels very like Lean In.
Oh, Sheryl Sandberg, Lean In.
Yeah.
Another girl boss from Facebook.
Perhaps one of the original girl bosses.
Oh, that book came out a year before Girl Boss, but it was not titled Girl Boss, so the titular girl boss is not Sheryl Sandberg of Facebook.
She really dodged a bullet while taking so many other bullets. But, like, I don't know, that has the same energy, whereas, like, Lean In feels, like, less ironic than Girl Boss does, because Girl Boss has been, like, kind of transformed into a meme in a way that Lean In never got transformed into a meme. Like, okay, here's my hot take. I think that Girl Boss transcends gender in the same way calling someone a Dean girl or a Cass girl or a Sam girl, if you're a fan of one of the characters from the CW Supernatural, transcends gender.
Everyone at home, take a shot. I mean, I think girl boss can be very frustrating because nobody's saying, like, women shouldn't be in management positions. Like, women should be in management positions if they wanna. That's fine.
I don't think anybody should be in management positions. I think management positions were a mistake.
Honestly, okay, yeah, you're right. But I think that it's this thing where it's like people who in the 2016 primary agreed with Bernie Sanders' policies more than Hillary Clinton's, but voted for Hillary Clinton because they just really wanted to see a woman be president.
Yeah, that is probably... No, you're right. Yeah.
It's just like the idea that no matter what, women in power will be better than men in power, regardless of who the woman or the man in question is, and just blindly assuming that like girl power, feminism is gonna save us when in reality we're just repeating the same mistakes.
I feel like we have very different understandings of the word girl boss, where like I think you're totally right about the unironic interpretation of the word girl boss and where it gets used in pop culture. Whereas I've hit the point of post-ironic, like the contemporary art of pop culture, if you will, where girl boss can be applied to any and all things and should mostly be applied to men.
This is why we're a good podcasting duo. Even earlier today, I said to somebody that the difference between me and you is that if we went on the reality show The Circle, you would have a blast, you would catfish, you would just be like, this is the funniest shit ever, this is a great meme, why am I on this reality show? And I would be like panicking and I would play myself because I would never pull off being a catfish.
Dude, you could totally catfish. I believe in you.
I'm too anxious to do it, but I'm definitely smart enough to do it.
Crippled by your crippling anxiety.
Yes.
I'm kidding.
Yes. But I think that also the fundamental difference between us is that I think about girl boss and I think about like, what does it mean that this has become a meme? What does it mean about our perceptions of gender, our perceptions of capitalism in America? And then you think of girl boss and you're just like, girl boss.
Well, you see, it's because I spend my entire day girl bossing in the capitalist institutions that make up modern corporate America. So, you know.
Am I a girl boss?
I think you're a girl boss.
Okay, I currently don't have any direct reports. I have managed interns before, and to anybody listening who's an intern, I wanted to say that your supervisor is more afraid of you than you are of them.
So you should eat your supervisor.
Yes. I'm just like, oh man, I just want them to have a good time and learn things, but what do I have to teach them?
You could give them a history of the Elizabeth Holmes trial. You have a lot to teach them about girl bossing.
Oh, we will get to that, but I guess I have to give my really sincere line that I wrote in all caps in the script. We need to imagine a future for historically marginalized people that sees us transcending the capitalist system to do greater things than paying people a so-so salary to have no work-life balance.
I mean, you're right, and you should say it. I do love that it's in all caps.
But, I mean, there's so many companies, in addition to Nasty Gal and Sheryl Sandberg, Lena, and Facebook, like Away, Stitch Fix, Great Jones, etc., that have these, like, stories of these white women founders, and then they massively implode. And I think that's the girl boss, but... So, how do we arrive from the fall of the girl boss, which there is an Atlantic article that I read called The Girl Boss Has Left the Building. American Workplaces Are Facing a Reckoning. So What Comes Next? By Amanda Mole. It was published in June 2020. I'm not going to quote that, but I am going to quote a Vox article about the meaning of Gaslight, Gatekeep, Girl Boss that says, as more of these stories, referring to the stories of all these companies, like, failing, surfaced, girl boss has shifted culturally from a noun to a verb, one that described the sinister process of capitalist success and hollow female empowerment. On TikTok and Twitter, girl boss became yoked to gaslight and gatekeep to create a kind of live, laugh, love of toxic, usually white feminism.
That's a good quote.
Important question.
Okay.
If Gaslight, Gatekeep, Girl Boss is derived from Live, Laugh, Love, is Gaslight, Gatekeep, Girl Boss cheugy?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm gonna go with no, because I think an inversion of a cheugy thing immediately becomes based.
Another quote, I just thank you, Alex Abad Santos, for writing this article about Gaslight, Gatekeep, Girl Boss. I'm jealous that you got to write about this for money, but that's fine. Because the girl boss thing to do is not to be intimidated by your peers. It's to form a community and mentor each other and support each other, you know?
Really? Because I feel like the girl boss thing to do would be to intimidate your peers. See, the problem is I feel like we keep taking different stances on girl boss, but like they're never the same stances that we took earlier.
I think girl boss bad.
Yes.
Girl boss bad. But okay, I just wanted to read one more quote from this article just because I think it's absolutely hilarious that they quoted Alexandra Solomon, a professor who specializes in gender roles at Northwestern University. I just think it's hilarious that this person wrote an article about Gaslight, Gatekeep, Girl Boss and talked to like professors about it, but...
You are teasing this sentence for like 30 seconds. Just spit it out.
Okay. When you look at the actual world girl boss, there may be some internalized sexism. Research shows that as women get older and as women become more powerful, they're perceived as less likable. So by using that term girl boss, there's a desire to be powerful, but a fear of losing likability.
I feel like I don't have a lot to say about that other than like, yeah, this is probably true. And it says something about like, I'm thinking about like gendered work clothing because I've been wearing a lot of gendered work clothing lately and how like if you're wearing a pantsuit, people still wear heels. I'm thinking about this because I was wearing a pantsuit with heels.
So, you know how like men on the right who listen to Fox News are paranoid about their favorite man being canceled?
Are they? I think they're more afraid of being canceled themselves.
True. Well, I'm worried about my faves being girl bossed.
Oh no. Who are you most worried about getting girl bossed?
I think people are trying to girl boss AOC.
Oh, people have definitely been trying to girl boss AOC. Wait, is this about the Met Gala dress?
Yes, people got really mad because AOC A went to the Met Gala and B wore a dress that says tax the rich in big red letters on it. And when I say people got mad, I'm not referring to like people that don't think that rich people should pay more taxes than not rich people. I'm talking about like people on the left who are like, how dare she go to the Met Gala even though she got a free ticket? And I will say, the dress was kind of cheugy, but I think it's fine. I think it's fine that AOC went to the Met Gala. She was invited. She didn't buy her ticket. She wore a dress that fit the Americana theme.
Here's, I think, the problem with the Met Gala discourse regarding AOC's dress. I think it's that people fundamentally don't understand how the Met Gala works. So you had this evolving conversation of people being like, wait, why is AOC going to the Met Gala filled with rich people wearing a dress that says tax the rich? If she is here with the rich people, she must be rich people because she's there. But then that's not how the Met Gala works. But most people don't know that it's that designers are paying for people to go there and that like certain politicians are just like automatically allowed in. That piece of information, not having that is crucial to the misunderstanding. And by the time people got that piece of information, they were already angry. And people are always looking for reasons to be angry at AOC's clothing, I feel like. Because remember when people were getting really mad about like the cost of her, I forget what she was wearing that time, but there was like a time where people were getting very mad about her outfit. And then she like released the like, this is how much all of it costs. And it's not that much and, you know, all that sort of thing. I don't know. Fashion's political.
Fashion is political. We actually, the two of us did a project about that in college together. Remember that?
Yeah, TBT.
We screen printed tote bags with every senator who got money from the NRA's phone number so you can call them and be like, hey, why are you taking money from the NRA? College, am I right?
Yeah, it was like a big red bullseye. It was so thematic. Just so many themes. Hey, would you say that our college screen printing business was girl boss?
I think it was girl boss because we did a pretty bad job of running it, but we got away with it.
Yeah, that's also how I feel about it. You know, I feel like this is all just emblematic of the larger problem of people getting mad at people who have like 4 money instead of the people who have 400 money, where it's like people are equating like Lil Nas X and like Jeff Bezos on the same income level when it's not, guys, it's really not. But like at a certain point, like the human brain is like, rich people.
Lil Nas X girl bossed.
Lil Nas X is currently girl bossing.
But like in a positive, like girl boss parentheses not derogatory.
Girl boss parentheses affectionate.
Yes. He's girl bossing so hard right now. Maybe cut this, but did you know that Lil Nas X got famous through Nicki Minaj stan Twitter?
Yes, which is extremely good.
Yeah. I had a couple beverages. I wasn't drunk, but I wasn't not drunk, and stopped at the grocery store on my way home to buy some avocados, listened to Montero in the grocery store, and then came home and read a bunch of articles about Lil Nas X, and I discovered that.
I love that for you.
And that was my Saturday.
Okay, so like AOC was not girl bossing, but people thought she was girl bossing, is kind of, I think, our read on this.
Yes.
However, ironically, she was girl bossing.
I think the theme of this episode is to girl boss or not to girl boss. So here's a big one. Do you think that Elizabeth Holmes, former CEO and founder of Theranos, is a girl boss?
Ooh. Okay, I'm going to put a caveat to this, and I think what it is that Elizabeth Holmes is girl boss derogatory. Where, like, I don't think girl boss as a term is morally charged, as in the person needs to be doing something positive. They just need to be filling that archetype of like woman who does something and gets away with it in like a corporate role.
I'm going to go on a whim here and say that Theranos is more Gaslight than Girl Boss. In this essay, I will.
Oh, spicy. Tell me your thesis.
Not only did she gaslight her employees and the people of the world into thinking that she had a product that worked that didn't actually work, she gaslighted the collective consciousness into thinking she's a girl boss, but she's really a gaslight.
You know, actually, now that you've said it, I kind of agree with your thesis based on her whole personality and everything that I know from reading Bad Blood, which came out in 2018. We should probably explain to Craig who Elizabeth Holmes and what Theranos is and why we're talking about it. I can do like a really high overview of what was going on a few years ago with Theranos. So Theranos was a startup that was started by Elizabeth Holmes, and basically what it promised was that it would do like less invasive blood testing with like much less blood. I mean, basically the pitch was we will take less blood and check for more things, which is like, you know, it's the opposite of vampire, right? Like it was like some anti-vampire technology.
But of course, because Silicon Valley, the pitch isn't less blood, more blood tests. The pitch is you will never have to say goodbye to another loved one again too soon, because with the blood test, you'll be able to find out about potential diagnoses earlier on.
See, that's like a very high concept pitch for something that was essentially less blood, more test. Anyway, so what happened was that is at a high level, she promised things that her startup could not deliver and made a lot of arrangements with various companies and with investors that she was not able to deliver on, and basically gaslight lit everybody into thinking that she had a working product. The reason why this is kind of interesting is the dirty secret that people in Silicon Valley do this all the time, in a sense that people will always lie about having a finished product. It usually doesn't matter because it's like code, and it's just you need a couple of guys to like type at it for a couple of very late nights and they'll get it done. I'm oversimplifying this drastically, but this is a medical device and that takes a lot more testing and there's a lot more governmental oversight, or there should be. And long story short, damn, that sure is fraud. And there was a big trial that happened recently.
It still is happening and probably still will be happening through like the beginning of next year.
See, I thought it wrapped up, but I actually haven't been paying that much attention to it because, ironically, because I've been starting a new law job, so I haven't been paying attention to the legal landscape. Oh, hold on. I think I got takeout.
It's extremely girl boss of you to get Thai food delivered while we're recording.
I agree. I think it was extremely girl boss of me to schedule my Thai food for the exact halfway point of our recording. This is the time for the ad break. All right, so since we are still not sponsored by anyone, hint, hint.
Looking at you, every company ever.
Looking at you, all the companies we just shit talk.
Looking at you, Theranos.
Looking at you, definitely not defunct Theranos.
Would love to get sponsorship money from Theranos.
My god, that would be extremely girl boss of us.
That would be so girl boss of us. But you know what else is girl boss of us? Gatekeeping.
Gatekeeping is extremely girl boss of us. So we are making a Discord. By making, I mean we have made it and nobody is in it except for us right now because we haven't added anyone. So do we have enough listeners for a Discord? No, there is only you, Craig. Keep up. But we're making that Discord anyway. By the time this episode is live, if you're a patron, you should have received a link to the Discord. Regardless of whether you want it or not, this is not a choice. Come talk to us, or we will come to your house and, I don't know, girl boss at you.
This is gonna be patrons only, because, you know, we just gotta have some way to get people to give us money. But if your name is Craig, or if you ask us really, really nicely, then, like, you can probably get in. Just, like, DM us.
I think you should ask us on Twitter in public so that we can see like the, you know, the virtual walk, the walk of shame really here. You should be in our Discord. We're fun, we're fresh. We will make some horrible channels. The next channel I'm going to make for it is a channel to post cursed boba combinations because I could really use some hive mind input on that because the ideas I have are salmon roe and cold soba broth, really tiny tomatoes and a Bloody Mary. So, you know, I need some more ideas. Oh, little bits of bagel that have been rolled up into a ball and then put into a Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee. You know, this is for like people in Boston.
So bad. What about very small matzo balls and chicken broth?
See, that's a cursed boba combination.
This is the kind of content that you can get if you join our Patreon at patreon.com/wowoftrue for as little as $2 a month. There is also bonus content. I took a Homestuck quiz and recorded it and put it on the Patreon once. That was terrible.
I think it was very girl boss of me to make you do that.
And we think it's really girl boss of us to make you give us money. And if you subscribe at the $6 tier and you live in the US, I will mail you a friendship bracelet because what's more girl boss than a friendship bracelet?
Truly, there is nothing more girl boss than a friendship bracelet that says Destiel on it. I think that's the ad.
Patreon.com/wowoftrue. Destiel's canon. Bye.
Join our Discord.
I wanted to point this out when you got your Thai food. Now we're back. Theranos once reached a valuation of $14 billion. Elizabeth Holmes dresses like Steve Jobs in a black turtleneck. She was like on the cover of Fortune magazine. Like, for some reason, I just completely missed this while it was happening. I think it was because this was around the same time that we went viral for like activism in college, so I just wasn't a person. I was just trying to cash in on my 15 minutes of fame that have since passed, and I've never reached that level of fame again.
Well, you went viral on Twitter. Is that anything?
Oh, speaking of going viral on Twitter, shout out to Patreon patron Dan McKeon for getting 200,000 likes on a tweet.
We're proud of you, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
Very girl boss of you, Dan.
Extremely girl boss of Dan.
Oh, last thing about Elizabeth Holmes that I do need to mention to add on to what you've said so far. She does pitch her voice lower to sound more like Steve Jobs. And it's like the thing that people mention all the time about her. And it's like not natural. And everyone's like, why is this incredibly deep voice coming out of this like blonde chick?
So, yeah, there's a lawsuit going on right now. It's a shit show. I really love following Dorothy Atkins, a reporter for Law 360 on Twitter, because she goes to the trial every day and live tweets it. Speaking of Dorothy Atkins, this comes from a tweet of hers. Shout out to her for giving us this great information. I know that you know a lot about the Theranos case because you read Bad Blood, but do you know about the Elizabeth Holmes cosplayers?
Holy shit, tell me more.
It's a tweet that says, Elizabeth Holmes has arrived at the courthouse and is surrounded by cameras. This was like the first day of the case.
Holy shit.
Since this is such a high profile case, there's like tons of people trying to get into the courthouse. And then there's a picture of 3 fans waiting in line. They are all wearing black suits, blonde hair, in a bun. They are Elizabeth Holmes cosplayers.
This is so fucking funny. Wait, okay, why does she have fans? Like, she lost.
She's a girl boss. They're there to support her.
Yeah, but she girl bossed too close to the sun, and now everyone's like, bitch, what are you doing?
Yeah, no, but like later in this thread, she says that the people were just like, oh, like we're here to show support.
You know, I really would love to have an Elizabeth Holmes cosplayer on the podcast so we could talk to them, because I really want to figure out the inner machinations of their mind.
I did think about that, but I think these people are like really, they're not girl bossing too close to the sun, if you will.
I think they're girl bossing too far from the sun.
Yes, but apparently there are Elizabeth Holmes cosplayers, and this tweet only has about 2,000 likes, but it got picked up by like so many news outlets just being like, Elizabeth Holmes cosplayers at the trial.
Yeah, because that's funny as hell. I don't know what this says about our culture, but I don't think I like it. But I do kind of like that it exists. I have some complex feelings.
I like that it exists, but I wish that people didn't idolize Elizabeth Holmes.
I wish people idolized girl bosses who are successful rather than girl bosses who are unsuccessful. On the other hand, like very, very girl boss of her to commit so much fraud on so many old white men. Like, unfortunately, we must stand that part of it.
Okay, controversial opinion. Elizabeth Holmes good?
Maybe Elizabeth Holmes good. No, do not add us on Twitter.
She's not good. She did medical tests on people and gave them false results to cover her ass and implicated the health of actual humans in the process.
But I think if this wasn't health related, I would stan her. Like, I think when you like actually like fuck with medical equipment, like that's not girl boss. However, committing fraud on old white men is very girl boss.
What product do you wish Elizabeth Holmes sold instead of blood testing equipment?
Ooh, Twitter.
Jack from Twitter is very girl boss.
I think also what would have been good is, remember the juice startup that just squeezed a juice pod?
Oh, wait, is this Moon Juice or...
No, not Moon Juice. Juicero or something?
Oh my god, I don't know what that is, but I hate it already.
No, okay, so this was the startup where basically what they sold you was prepackaged juice and a mechanism to squeeze the packs of juice. However, it was quickly revealed that you could just squeeze the packs of juice with your hand, and you didn't need the $5 million piece of equipment to squeeze the juice pack. So everyone was clowning on them for a while.
I think juice would be the perfect thing for Elizabeth Holmes to sell.
Okay, let's say that we want to become girl boss. What should we defraud like a bunch of people by selling?
This podcast.
Oh, fuck.
We are raising venture capital.
For the low, low price of a few dollars, you too can become part of this experience. And, if that doesn't really sell it to you, apparently, if you're at the Patreon tier where we say your name, it doesn't have to be your name, which is very unfortunate for me, but very fortunate for you if you're interested in that.
It's especially fortunate for Ultralord from Jimmy Neutron.
Jesus Christ.
Final take, yes or no, Elizabeth Holmes, girl boss.
Yes. I've come back around to my original thesis where I think committing fraud is very girl boss.
If she can only be Gaslight, Gatekeep, or girl boss, she's Gaslight. If she can be both, I think she's Gaslight and girl boss. Maybe not Gatekeep. I mean, maybe she's gatekeeping, like, information about fraud.
She's gatekeeping, like, actual health information. I feel like she was gatekeeping information from her employees.
Elizabeth Holmes is Gaslight, Gatekeep, and girl boss.
My god, she's the full trifecta. No wonder she went to jail.
I mean, she didn't go to jail.
Okay, no wonder she is in the process of maybe getting guilty or not, depending on how this happens. Hey, I'm a lawyer, I can say that. On that note, if you like this episode, tell a friend. Word of mouth is how we grow. And maybe perhaps leave us a review on iTunes. That's super helpful to us. And thank you to everyone who left a review so far. And thank you to all of our Patreon patrons. Shout out specifically to Zoe Stoller, Dan McKeon, Bray, and Ultra Lord from Jimmy Neutron specifically. Another shout out to Sam Rizer, who made our podcast music. You can find us online at wowoftrue.com or on Twitter as @wowofTruePod and Insta and Facebook as @wowoftrue. If you want to throw us a couple dollars, if you want to slide into our Discord DMs, slide right into our Patreon at patreon.com/wowoftrue. And if you've had your 15 seconds of fame or know someone who has, or just want to debate girl boss with us, slide right into our Twitter DMs. Until next time, let's get famous on the internet.